What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. SoFi had a phenomenal day. I want to go over what shorts did, what the options are signaling, and everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi closed 3.93% in the green, new 52-week high of $15.75. And I'm kind of getting used to saying that every time, that it's hitting a new 52-week high. It's a good trend. But it did have a little bit of a sell-off first thing, low of 15.08. No real rhyme or reason, in my opinion. I think that was just shorts kind of increasing their position at once, trying to bring it down. As I said in my pre-market video, there was roughly, I think, 18 or 20,000 in open interest at that $15 strike price. So they had a little bit more of a financial gain to bring it down. But there was one data point that came out this morning. Manufacturing came in at 48.8, a little bit lower than the forecast, but in comparison to the previous, it's at least moving in the right direction towards that 50 and hopefully above that. So next report will be a big one to watch for. So anything over 50, as I've signaled, shows more of an expansion within the broader market. So definitely stay tuned for that. But aside from that, nothing specific to SoFi, no SEC filings, no press releases. So it was kind of just piggybacking off of the broader market. But shorts. So shorts did increase on Thursday, but today, luckily enough, they just admitted defeat. They did return 634,000 shares. 14% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 149.12 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow minimum is still negative. So pretty much majority of the week, I think, with the exception of Wednesday, if I remember correctly, it's been negative. So whatever broker is trying to drum up business, it's not really working all too well. And one person in my comments last video did ask for me to bring up exactly how much shorts have generally lost. So essentially I used basically beginning of October as a good benchmark. So since then they lost around as a whole $3 billion. So pretty good stuff. I think it was long past due. Pretty much majority of 2023 and most of 2024, they've been dominating SoFi, really controlling it like a puppet. Since October, literally big money has been buying the hell out of it and short have been losing their asses. Still though, I think there's still a lot more room for SoFi to go up. So essentially more room for, or more opportunity for shorts to lose more money. So let me know your thoughts on that. So pretty optimistic the fact that shorts did return, and as I've signaled, I feel realistically shorts will continue to return up until it gets to roughly around that like 10 to 11% range. So we'll just kind of stay tuned for that. But looking at the options, there was 49 million in calls, 5.4 million in puts. 45% of all the options being done so far today were optimistic and bullish. And of the call options that were purchased, you see a consensus for it to be above, oddly, $18 for next week. So this was very abnormal, and it wasn't just a one-off, because you can kind of see at that 1650, 1750. So I don't know what to tell you. The market just wants to keep on moving SoFi higher, and I'm not gonna kind of argue with that. Even today, this was the very first time in a very long time that I've actually sold a put. And for those of you that don't know what I do, I try to get premiums as best as possible. But if you are selling a put, I did sell a 1550 put today. And if it was to have closed below that, then that does mean I buy it at 1550. I buy more shares. But if it closes above that, then I get to keep the premium. So honestly, I did that. Very, very bullish. And because I am, you know what, honestly, I'm okay with buying more SoFi at these prices, especially given the momentum. There isn't really anything that seems to be slowing down on a macro standpoint or SoFi. So yeah, I think there's a lot more upside to come as of this. So with today being Friday, this is the current open interest. So essentially everything above that 1550 does expire worthless. So that's kind of the downside of doing options. Everything below that is in the money. So equates to roughly, I think I had that up, around 7.5 million shares that does need to be covered by market makers. I feel after hours, they are starting to cover. There's quite a few big transactions. So 26.9 million just in one transaction done after hours, 9.36, 1.3 million, 1.28 million. So big money. Honestly, it's just gravitating towards SoFi that it's going to be the next big thing. So yeah, honestly, it's an exciting stock to be in. But these are all the transactions that did occur overall throughout the day on the secondary market. Once again, above $100,000. So enormous amount of buying. And so yeah, it doesn't look like they are slowing down whatsoever. So they still see more and more upside. And I started to think, so a lot of people really get hyped up by 13Fs. In case you don't know what 13Fs are, that's disclosures to the SEC. They're always delayed. So for instance, this latest round right here. So whenever you see someone post like, hey, this person or this entity increased their position, and it's always delayed information. So all this is within Q3. That's when it occurred. But for those of you that kind of watch my video every single day, like, you'll know I bring up like, hey, this happened, big money's buying or selling, blah, blah, blah. Imagine the next 13F. So the 13Fs for Q4, pretty much every entity most likely will probably double their position. You'll have tons and tons of big money kind of tripling their position, such as Barclays. Even in Q3, they increased their position 5.4% just on their common stock. They did increase their their call options 1.7%. So yeah, imagine what the Q4 13Fs are going to look like. That's going to be absolutely insane. So something again to look forward to. That won't be coming out until most likely kind of late January, February-ish, so just be aware of that. But with it closing at $15.60, it is trading between this R3 and this R2. So $15.96 will be a next kind of target for SoFi to hit. That'll be hopefully early next week if it can continue this amazing momentum. And then flip side, just to give you a quick overview, so 14.58 and then 15.13 are going to be kind of strong support levels. Just once again, just watch that going forward. Moving over to IBKR on the actual chart itself, honestly, nothing has really changed. The only thing that has really changed is just stochastic RSI has gone a little bit overbought, but then again, the broader market's in the same stance. So the first sign of weakness, you could have a little bit more of a pullback, but then again, it won't just happen with SoFi, it'd be across the board. But as of right now, it is above the ALMA, above the 50, 100, 200-day moving averages. MACD, very, very high, but at the same time, very bullish. And even though I did say that it is overbought, it is still a bullish sentiment. So the blue line above the orange. So honestly, amazing stuff. Just to give you a quick overview of this, popping over to the recent analyst ratings. So there was one that came out a couple days back. That was Mizuho, $16 buy rating. Dan, still yet to hear from the two amigos. One amigo did give a rating, but Giuliano with Compass Point, $4 sell. That was done last month. Then you have David from Wedbush, sell rating, $4 price target. So still yet to hear from those individuals. It'd be interesting to find out what their overall thoughts on SoFi are. Like, I don't know, maybe they just gave up and started working at McDonald's or something like that. Giuliano, it's kind of weird because he does have a good success rating, somewhat 58%. David though, 48%. You might as well just flip a coin for the most part. So yeah, that's a pretty much a good summary of exactly what happened with SoFi. So you should see a nice level of buying most likely come Monday, just to kind of cover all those in the money options. But a lot of the data points are still signaling that there's a lot more room for it to go up. So good to see shorts returning, and most likely will continue to return. And then just options activity looking extremely optimistic, and just the technicals. So kind of the trifecta that I like to look at. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, I did launch a Patreon where I'm giving buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. And I have been having home runs. So sharing those with you. So make sure you pop over to the Patreon, link in the description below and also the comments to kind of take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.